Hi, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Let's start off with thanking Dick Pritchett Real Estate for having these wonderful cams for us to watch. Let's start off with Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Saturday evening, the cams went out about 9:26 p.m. because of heavy rain. They were offline until Monday morning, about 9:11 a.m. So we got nothing for Sunday, and Monday's pretty much so a dead day. There was a theft from M15 about 9:31 a.m. It looked like a squirrel carcass. The intruder stole it from him. So that's pretty much so the day for Monday. And Tuesday, there's really no action other than 22s hanging out in the nest area most of the day. That's pretty much it for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That brings us to Wednesday, 5/3, 6:30 a.m., 22's in the nest tree. I see 22 fly off towards the river about 6:50 a.m. At 9:10 a.m., M15 returns to the nest with a fish. 22's right on his tail feathers. 22 gets the fish and eats it. And M15 hits the pond after the delivery, and 22 has a really happy look on his face in the nest. At 3 p.m., M15 returns with the fish. 22 gets the fish. He was in the nest already waiting and drops down and gets it. And then at 8:25, he's in the nest tree getting ready for the night. That brings us to Thursday, 5/4. 6:30 a.m., 22's in the nest tree, being kind of vocal. We've had no 21 all this week. 21's been gone since last Saturday and has not returned this whole review week. At 10:59, M15 returns with a fish. 22 follows him to the nest, gets it, and eats it. At 1:27, M15 returns to it with a fish. 22 comes to the nest first, and 15 gets there next. 22 gets the fish and eats it. And then at 8:30 p.m., 22's in the nest tree above the nest cam. And I made a note that there was a full moon that evening, and you could see around the pond where we were waiting to the evening. That brings us to Friday, 5/5. At 6:30 a.m., E22 is in the nest tree. At 2:51, M15 returns to the nest and is in the nest eating on a fish. 22 does not come to the nest. At 2:57, M15 exits the nest with prey and goes down to the pond. 22 flies in about 3:03 and gets the fish from him and starts eating on it. He's eating the fish at the pond. Then at 3:47, 22's done with the fish. He's in the pond bathing, drinking, just splashing around, having a good time. Then at 5:33, M15 returns with a fish. 22 gets to the nest tree first, and M15 follows. 22 gets that fish and eats it. At 8:30 p.m., he's in the nest tree up in the upper branches above the cam, getting ready for the night. Brings us to Saturday, 5/6. At 6:30 a.m., 22's in the nest tree. At 9:48 a.m., M15 returns with a fish. He hits the nest, and 22 comes in right after him. Kind of a small prey. 22 eats it real quick. Then at 12:10, M15 returns with a fish. 22 comes in, gets the fish, and eats it. That's pretty much so it for prey for the day. 22 did spend most of the day up in the nest tree, just hanging out. And then at 8:30 p.m., he was still in the nest tree, getting ready for bed. Now, there have been sightings around the area of birds soaring. At times, there's been a report of 3 birds. One looked like they were saying M and the 2 E's soaring around. I do think 21's still around there. I just don't think 21's coming back to the nest site anymore. I think 21 probably kind of got fed up with 22's BS. 22 can be a difficult character. 22 chases dad off, so, and just in general, 22's just become a real monster, just a little monster, like I said in one of the other videos. It's just, I've heard some reports that say he misses 21. I do not think he misses 21. I think he's enjoying this alone time. Eagles are very, very dominant birds. They are very social creatures also, but I just feel like watching 22. It looks to me like 22 is just established a dominance over this nest tree area, and I'm sure it'll last a little bit longer. But eventually, 22 is going to leave. I do think. I can't imagine him staying there much longer. I'd give him another month or so. I will tell y'all, from what I read, M15 is going to keep taking care of him. What I've read, the parents will take care of him for up to 3 months sometimes, and even longer, until they start their new mating season. They may still take care of him. Will they keep bringing food back to the nest site like he is? Maybe not. I'm not sure what's going to happen with him, since he doesn't really make the choices on the nest site, the nest tree, and the area that they're going to be in. I'm not even sure we'll have a nest cam in this area next year. I sure hope. Who knows? I know this. 22's not looking like he's ready to leave anytime soon. It looks like to me 21's already made that adventure out into the world and decided that she's going to try to make it away from the nest. Alright, so that brings us to a new nest for the rest of this review. We're going to talk about Angel and Tom. They're red-tailed hawks in Tennessee. Angel's pretty much so almost an all-white red-tailed hawk. They're calling her leucistic. I don't know if that's the proper term for her color morph, but it could be. We want to thank Window to Wildlife for these cams. Now, we didn't get off to a very good start here. Tom is Angel's mate. Tom killed the first chick, and he was on his way to killing the second one, but Angel came back to the nest and halted it. Fortunately. Where I'm quite sure he would have killed the second chick. I'm just not sure Tom, he's a first-time father. This is his first year being mature. And I'm just not sure he was ready to go back to the nest and see something alive. And the second time as well. Luckily, Angel straightened him. So that brings us to 5-1. I see 2 opossums delivered to the nest that day. One of them's brought back by Angel. Now, she could have gotten that from Tom. And then the other opossum was brought back by Tom. She feeds the chicks and herself, and Tom watches. It does look like to me she doesn't like Tom around the nest site, or around the nest. And I don't blame her from the way he was acting. That brings us to 5-5. At 5 p.m., we see Angel make a kill. It's a beautiful kill. I'm surprised there's not a video of this kill, because you can clearly see her drop from the nest all the way down to the ground. It was awesome. when she hits that groundhog, she snaps its back right in two. It sounded like a twig snapping, but it wasn't a twig. It was that groundhog's back snapping. All right, it was a good-sized groundhog, and it took her a while to get it back up to the nest. She basically had to branch her way back up to the nest. I mean, we're talking about a groundhog here that probably weighed close to 3 pounds. And she only weighs about 4 pounds. So that was a good-sized catch for her. Tom really hasn't been seen at the nest site since 5/3. I'm sure he's been around, we just haven't seen him on camera. Then 5/6, early in the morning, Angel's feeding the chicken herself. We still haven't seen Tom. I made a note that the Blue Jays are really pestering her, just won't leave her alone, and they love trying to mimic her. That's unfortunate she's having to put up with that. I think it's actually making her kind of not want to leave the nest. I don't think those Blue Jays will do anything to her baby, but they might. She needs to be careful. All right, and then at 12:08 on 5/6, Tom returns with some type of UFO. Maybe a bird. I couldn't tell what it was. Angel got that, whatever the UFO, and immediately started feeding the chicken herself. And it looked like Angel asked Tom to leave the nest, and he did. I made a note that there was plenty of prey in the nest. And then at 6 p.m., I see Angel feeding the chicken herself again. It looks already like that baby's getting bigger. Just from the Friday meal to the Saturday evening, you can see a growth difference. And then at 8 p.m., I see Angel feeding herself and the chick again. And that's about it for them for the evening. Let's talk just real quick about Angel. Angel's a magnificent red-tailed hawk, obviously. I've been watching red-tailed hawks for a long, long time, since I was in high school. I've done papers on birds of prey, and the primary bird in the paper's always been the red-tailed hawk. Red-tailed hawks, they have a distinct pattern that most raptors do. I could tell that she was fixing to try to make a kill just by how she was acting. They go into a little bit of a head bob, and they'll start moving their head around, kind of trying to gauge distances and the terrain and what she's going to have to go through to get to that prey. And you could clearly see her bouncing her head around. I knew she was fixing to go down and try to make a kill. You could just tell. And she's seen stuff around the nest site because I've seen her do that. I saw her do that Saturday afternoon. Now, she already had food in the nest, and she didn't come down and go for the kill, but at times you can see she sees stuff on the property. It's a little bit of a shame. I'm not sure Tom's really figured out what's going on here, what he's supposed to be doing. I do think Angel's starting to get him on the right track. Let me say this. It's not uncommon for the male to not come back to the nest for days at a time if they haven't caught any prey. The male usually, he shows up when he has food. He's not going to show up for no reason. Once the chicks hatch in red-tailed hawks, the female pretty much so stays on the nest. And like I said, to me, it looks like she doesn't even want him on the nest. I do think she has him straightened out. Saturday, when he came to the nest with the prey item, instead of stepping right over the chick, he did step around her. He hadn't been even doing that. He'd been kind of stepping on him. Okay, he did go around the chick. So I do think he realizes now what's going on, what's in the nest. I do not think that Angel's going to trust him in the nest. Not anytime soon. That's going to take a little bit more time. But what a beautiful bird she is, y'all. I have never heard of an all-white, or an almost all-white red-tailed hawk. She could be one of a kind. There could be no other bird like her.
like that.
So,
I love it.
and in the history, I'm sure there might be one more, but I've never seen one. So, hey, if you like this video, hit the like. Please subscribe. Leave me some comments. And we'll see you on the next ride. Y'all have a good one. Take care.